Welcome back, and let us now discuss the final section of the IELTS module, that is speaking. Speaking is something that most people fear about because it's an interview. It's an interview between one person and the other, that is the examiner and the candidate. Speaking is generally a 10 to, or you can say 11 to 14 minutes activity, but it generally extends between somewhere between 10 to 17 or 18 minutes. A longer speaking may or may not be, may or may not be expected, but sometimes longer speakings do take place and shorter speakings do take place. It entirely depends upon what kind of, speaking you have. In the speaking module, there are three kinds of questions. It is divided into three parts. The first is introductory questions, in which the basic questions related to or regarding your choices are asked. Suppose, do you like to drink tea or coffee? Now, when we answer, we need to make sure that in IELTS, we need not just say directly tea or maybe coffee. What we need to take care is, they are testing your grammar, they are testing your IELTS, they are testing your English, they are testing your pronunciation, fluency, lexical resource, cohesion, cohesiveness. There are so many aspects on which speaking is checked upon. So we need to make sure, as I'm giving you the introductory class today, we need to make sure that in speaking module, we need to exactly give at least 1 or 2 line answers even in the introductory questions. Although I prefer taking tea much, but I also love coffee. Means this is a kind of 1 line answer that you need to give. You can also mention a reason behind that, because since my childhood I have been given at least 1 cup of tea by my parents as a bed tea, and I'm very used to it. Now, in the introductory questions, you are asked generally a set of range of 3 to 4 questions, but sometimes these questions even range to 10. So do not worry, अगर आपसे 3 या 4 क्वेश्चन की बजाय 10 इंट्रोडक्टरी क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया तो उससे घबरा मत जाइए बेटे. It's a part, it's just a speaking. The second part of speaking module is cue cards. In cue cards, you're given a set of questions with the main question, and after the question has been given to you, you will be given 1 minute to make notes for that and 2 minutes to speak about the topic. A sample of speaking will be shown to you before you begin with your actual IELTS classes. As I said, I'll quote you an example of speaking cue card over here, the second part of speaking module. Suppose you're asked a question, describe your dream home. Okay. Now, with this main question, there will be 3 to 4 sub-questions that will be asked, to you simultaneously. The first question, or one by one. The first question for, say, sub-question is, what kind of home it would be? Why do you want to have such kind of home? When are you going to build such home? And with whom will you stay there? Now, these are the 4 kind of questions that have been asked with the main basic question. So all we need to take care is, now when we are given 1 minute time to make notes for the question, these all the questions, sub questions have to be covered while you start speaking your cue card. Now, once the 1 minute time of making notes gets over, the time for actual speaking of cue card begins. Now, when we speak the cue card, all the examiner checks is your accuracy of the content, कि आपने content में चारों question को cover किया है या नहीं किया है. Then whether you are able to speak in a correct grammar. Then do you use any sort of lexical resource, means additional resource, like a vocabulary, connectors, idioms. These are a part of speaking module that they check when you speak your cue card. The cue card has to be spoken for 2 minutes, at least 1 to 2 minutes, somewhere between 1 to 2 minutes. Sometimes the examiner stops you at 1 minute. Sometimes the examiner carries on to talk, to make you talk or make you speak for complete 2 minutes, and even more sometimes. Now, the third part of the speaking module contains the follow-up questions. The cue card that has been asked by you, from you, contains the follow-up questions as well along with it. Means, if my cue card is related to the dream home, my follow-ups will also be related to something like that itself. For example, do people have trend of flats in your country nowadays? Now, since the question was related to home, therefore the follow-up question has been asked related to that itself. Or, for example, the next question that can be asked to you is, do people in your country prefer renting houses? So now follow-ups can be ranging from 3 to 4 or 9 to 10 or maybe somewhere between 3 to 10. Do not hustle, do not hurry, do not get confused if the examiner asks you a lot of questions. These are very basic questions. You need not be afraid. I would suggest you to take a speaking session with your teacher, with your IELTS trainer as the first day of your beginning of your class. Do not worry. Do not be scared about it. But in case if you face any problem, if there is a confidence problem, that you lack confidence, you hesitate to face the public or the examiner, take some time, ask your IELTS trainer to give you some time, and then after a few days, after 3 to 4 days, when you get comfortable in the classroom and with the trainer, you begin with your speaking practice every day. So that's all about the speaking section. And at the end, I would like to say each module has their own individual band score, which is counted together, and then an average score is counted out of it, which is your overall score. So not even a single module in IELTS has to be left behind, as all the modules carry their own importance of band score. Even if you're left in a single IELTS band score or single IELTS module, you're still stuck behind, because the current criteria of gaining admission in a university or a college abroad or getting into a working scenario abroad is at least a minimum 6 bands. A 6 band gives you an authority that to study, allows you at least a little bit of authority to study abroad, as a 6 band user generally has a basic command over English language, which is very important, which is compulsory in fact to survive in a nation where English language is compulsory. So I wish you a very good luck and be a part of Incredibles. I hope these videos have given you a brief overview. We will also try to give you a Hindi version of this as soon as possible, but since keeping the professional decorum, we need to make sure that all this has to be framed in English language. As we are studying English, we are dealing with IELTS. So please make sure that your journey with Incredibles is smooth enough. Your trainers are there to help you. घबराना नहीं है किसी चीज़ से. Your trainers will try as much as possible to deal with you, to guide you about your IELTS training. जितना भी टाइम लगता है, 1 महीना, 2 महीना, 3 महीने, 6 महीने, कई बच्चे पूरे साल में, लेकिन बच्चे कर जाते हैं. घबराना नहीं है. वी डोंट हैव टू बी स्कैर्ड. इट्स जस्ट अ लैंग्वेज. हम लैंग्वेज छोटे होते से ही सीखते आ रहे हैं. हम जब बर्थ लेते हैं, जब हम पैदा होते हैं, तब भी हमें मतलब एक लैंग्वेज को, चाहे वो हिंदी है, चाहे वो पंजाबी, चाहे बागरी, चाहे तमिल, चाहे नेपाली, एनी लैंग्वेज, मे इट बी जर्मन, मे इट बी फ्रेंच, कोई भी बच्चा है अगर वो अपने पेरेंट्स से अगर मदर टंग को सीख सकता है बिना लिखे, बिना पढ़े, तो ये तो फिर भी एक आपको एक प्रॉपर एजुकेशन दी जाती है इस चीज़ की. यू आर गाइडेड अबाउट इट एंड देन यू प्रोसीड विद इट. सो आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू नॉट टू वरी, and I really wish that these classes go wonderful. जैसे जैसे time बीतेगा, we'll be guiding you about all the modules in depth. Thank you so much for attending this overview class about IELTS. And this is Ritika Narang, the director of Incredibles. And it's an immense pleasure to guide you students with the medium of this video. And I really feel lucky to impart the knowledge to so many students coming across over here. Thank you so much once again. Have a nice day.